everyone, it's Sissy from Absolute Potential Health and Performance here today, and today's video is going to go into an ELDOA decompression position for the L5-S1. So the L5-S1 is probably one of the most commonly injured or affected joints of our spine. It's the lowest one, so L5 is your last lumbar vertebrae, and your S1 is basically the top of this big triangular shaped bone that you can see here as well, which actually is made up of joints, but they've all been fused through our development. So L5-S1, as you can see from the side, is the very lowest one. It tends to be implicated in a lot of low back pain, disc herniations, lots of disc pathologies basically, and this stretch also serves as a really good general lumbar stretch for most of us. So a really good stretch that all of us could be doing just as upright creatures. We walk, we get around, most of us anyway, during the day. Gravity tends to have that downward pull on us, and we end up putting that pressure on our vertebral discs as well. So this decompression exercise is a really great one, not only for people that have low back pain or that L5-S1 pathology specifically, but who also just, like I said, get up and stand around and walk all day, which is pretty much most of us. So for those of you that know the ELDOA techniques, you'll know that what it's doing is a very, very specific decompression or opening up at that particular level. What we do is we tension the muscle and fascia both above and below that specific joint, and we use a specific posture to enable us to get that decompression right to that specific joint that we're looking at. I'll show you today a slightly different angle as well, just so you can actually see the stretch that I'm going to be doing. We're basically going to need a wall and just a flat bit of space, enough space that you can actually get your hands up above your head. Now, the first position that we need to get into is actually basically putting our bottom up against the wall and our feet up along the wall. Now, just to start off with, in people that are very acute, this position or getting into this position itself is going to be a little bit tricky, particularly those that also have very tight hamstrings. Hamstrings or tight hamstrings tend to be something that I see commonly with people that do have low back pain that can be a contributing factor. So it kind of end up targeting both sort of aspects of what could be going on in that pathology as well. If this is you and you find just getting your feet up on the wall is quite difficult, and your bottom is, quite a bit away from the wall, that's completely fine. You need to work within your pain. As you start to ease off with that pain, you'll start to find you'll be able to move your bottom a little bit closer. But even just getting your feet up onto the wall and getting into that position can be quite effective to help relieve some of those symptoms that you're getting as well. So, the best way that I've found to get your feet up on the wall, particularly if you're not very flexible, is to kind of come up alongside it like this. Get your bottom as close as you can to the wall, and then kind of slide down and bring those legs up onto the wall like this. So you can then from there shuffle your bottom up towards the wall, so your bottom is basically up against the wall. Feet straight up in front of you. You want to have your feet about 15 centimeters or so apart, which is about hip width apart, okay? Your spine is going to be flat on the floor, so lumbar spine's flat. Your neck needs to be nice and flat too, so you don't want to arch your neck. You want to think about a nice long neck, like this, looking down towards your knees. Once you've got that position, we then look at what we're doing with our feet. So with regards to tensioning the the lower part of our body, we want to bring our toes towards us and turn the soles towards each other. So that's that pseudo inversion posture of the ankles and feet. We then want to think about pressing the knees towards the floor and almost lifting those heels up off the floor. You'll see there's a slight lift of my heels as I tension the toes, as I press the knees down towards the floor, down towards the wall, sorry. In regards to the upper limb, we're bringing our hands into that typical ELDOA position. You would have also seen this if you've watched my myofascial stretching videos. Arms straight out in front and external rotation, so turning the hands out. And we're thinking about pulling the shoulders, the fingers back towards us as much as possible to tension that fascia in the upper limb. those arms then come up above our head, which is why we need that little bit more room. Once we've got those positions on, we then want to think about that intensity. So we really want to think about pulling the toes towards us, trying to pull the toes up into our mouth, lifting the heels off of the floor, pushing the knees back of the knees into the wall. The arms are pushing away. Okay, you're trying to extend your arms straight up above your head, pulling the fingers back towards you as much as you can. Toes pulling up, knees, back of the knees pushing into the wall, arms straight away. So you're almost trying to think about really opening up the lower back. Okay, at the same time you keep looking down towards your knees, nice long neck, flat back, and then think about pressing the lower part of the bottom down into the floor at the same time. So you're pushing up towards the ceiling with your feet, you're pushing away, the palms of the hands away from you above your head, and then the lower part of the back is pushing down into the floor. And you keep breathing. And then once you're finished, you relax the arm first, and then relax the legs. And the easiest way to get out of it again is to come into that side lie position and then push yourself back up. So you can see I'm a little bit breathless. That tends to be how you feel when you do these ELDOA stretches or when you do the myofascial stretches, because what you're doing is you're using intensity, you're really thinking about contracting upper and lower limb and fascia and tension to basically get that specific decompression, or in the case of the myofascial stretches, that specific stretch at that particular level that you're working at. In regards to how long to hold this pose for, maximum 1 minute. That's quite a long time when you're thinking maximal intensity. So that's maximal stretching, arms away, feet away, lower back down, and that's quite a bit of work for most people, so you want to work towards it. As I said at the start of the video, if you're quite acute and have a lot of pain, start off being in that position, and you can just hold that position. That can often be enough for some people at the very start. As your symptoms start to subside, you can do that maximal intensity of the stretch, which is really where you're going to get that benefit of opening up that L5-S1 joint to take that pressure or to decompress that particular joint so that it can start to have fluid come back into it, to start to take some of that pressure off if you've got like a nerve root compression. These can be really fantastic techniques. These are lower techniques to help with that spinal pathology as well. So work up to maximum of 1 minute every day. As I said, this is really great for even those people that don't have any sort of lumbar spine pathology, because we are all upright creatures and we all have the same effects of gravity on us. At the end of the day, just before you go to bed is the best time to do it, just because you then have that, 7 to 10 or however long you sleep hours of being on your back without having gravity pull down on your spine, so that you can get the most benefit out of that decompression that you've just done. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'd love to hear them. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.